Hi ladies, hi gents, I hope you're all well. I've just popped these cuties here just to give you something to look at for a moment whilst I talk a bit. Okay, so this video is for a challenge that I'm going to do, and I've never done a challenge before. I've done giveaways and stuff like that, but I've never actually done a challenge. And recently I've been taking part in a few, and I've really loved it. And February is my birthday month, so I thought I will do the challenge in February. Before I explain the challenge, what I'm going to do is just tell you a little bit about what I would like you to send with your entry, just so that you get the details first before I go into explaining the challenge. So when you send your entry, can you please pop a little note in there that tells me your name, your address, your YouTube channel if you have one, your blog if you have one, and your Facebook. And you don't have to supply all three of these, just whichever one you do use to do your crafting. So if all your crafting's done on YouTube, just supply your YouTube channel. If it's all done on a blog, just supply your blog. And if you could also tell me your fave colour and your fave style of crafting, because then I get to know a bit more about each person that takes part, plus I know who you are and what your channel is. I won't share this information on the videos. I will read it off camera, so nobody will be able to see it, but it just will help me know who everyone is. So that's the details of what I would like you to tell me when you send your entry. So I'll leave that there for a moment. Okay. The other thing is, I was trying to work out a way how to give out my address. I loved that Jeanette, hi Jeanette, gave out a PO box number, but I looked into it here in the UK and it's really expensive, so I'm not going to go down that road. So what I've done is I've set up an email address, which I will put in the description box down below, for you to email me, and I will just copy and paste my address into those emails and send it on to you. Now, I work full time, so what I'm going to try and do is each evening go through the emails, send out the address, go through the emails, send out the address. So I have to readjust my schedule each day to make this work for me too. So if you can, be patient with me. I will try and do it every evening. To anybody that requests the address, I will email at night, and I know obviously there's a time difference depending where you are. So the email address to contact me for my address will be in the description box down below. There's no need to write a long email or anything like that. Just say that you want to take part in the challenge and ask me for my address, and then that way I know that's what the email's for, because I won't have time to write long emails or anything. I just need to be able to paste my address in there and send it back to you, if that's okay. Because I've got no idea how many people are going to want to take part, so I have to, you know, just plan the best way that I can do it, and for me that seems to be the best way, so I'm hoping it all works out. Okay, so that's the information dealt with, how to get my address dealt with, and so I'm just going to explain what the challenge is. Okay, and as you'll see from the title of this video, I'm calling it a Snip of Inspiration. So I wanted to be able to try and include everyone in this challenge, and I want you to create a very small snip of inspiration. And the idea is I'm going to create inspiration boards from the entries, but I'll tell you a bit more about that later. So what I did is I made up some examples, and these are just examples. This is just to give you a few ideas of what I was thinking a snip of inspiration is. So you could do a small fabric snip. So let's start with this one. So this is a small square of fabric, and flowers inspire me, so I have just put a flower on this small piece of fabric. So again, a small snip of inspiration. You can see my stitching on this one. And on it I love cheesecloth, so I've got a bit of cheesecloth. I love laces, so there's a bit of vintage lace on there. One of my favourite laces, some little flower trim, some seam binding tied in a bow at the top. Excuse me. A small applique and a bling piece. All things that inspire me, but just a small snip of inspiration. This one's a little bit bigger. This is probably the biggest size. It can be as small as you like, but probably no bigger than this. I'll tell you the measurements of this in a moment. So again, a piece of fabric, and again you can see my messy stitching on this, and again I've added lace, an applique, a flower, a glass button, some tatting, some little doilies down the side, cheesecloth, a little bit of a dangle, a pearl. I've stitched a pearl on there, another couple of pearls here, and some little buttons down the side there. All things that inspire me. Oh, and a wedding applique, sorry. A couple of these I did hand stitch, but the next one I did actually use fabric glue. It doesn't matter, you can use glue or stitch or however you want to make it. It just is a small snip of inspiration of what you find inspiring. So this one I just took, again, a small snip of fabric. This one I did use fabric glue. So I took some fabric that has roses and that Eiffel Tower, and I just cut that out and laid it down. And yes, I've got cheesecloth and bits of lace, a small dangle here, a flower, another flower with a pearl diamante embellishment, which is actually an earring, this velvet vintage flower applique, some ribbon roses, a button, some little beads on one of the little pins, a little Eiffel Tower charm, another tiny piece of wedding applique. There's another fabric under there as well. So all things that I love and find inspiration from. So I love flowers. The shabby colours I love, the Eiffel Tower, little beads, buttons, you know, dangles. So that's a snip of what I find inspiring. So they're about the same size. So the biggest, I'll do it in inches. So that's, let's say 7. That's about 3.5. So let's say 7 inches by 4 inches is the biggest Nothing bigger than that. Anything smaller, any size smaller, perfect. Nothing bigger than 7 by 4 inches. Because one, I want to keep any cost or postage for anybody as low as possible. So if you just want to do a tiny little square of fabric with a couple of buttons on, whatever inspires you, it can be as small as you like, but no bigger than 7 inches by 4, please. And I'll explain a bit more about the inspiration board in a moment. Now, I know we've got a lot of people that love to craft with fabric and laces, but I did also want to include people that love paper and maybe not, who don't do a lot with fabric. So I've done a few little paper ones. So this one, the paper inspires me because it's got roses on. I love wings, and it says use your wings. So that's just a small snip of inspiration. I'm going to be saying that a lot. This one has, that way, again a small piece of paper, a postcard image, some paper flowers and a small lace applique. Love these colours. So the inspiration is the colours, the postcard, sorry, excuse me, the paper flowers and the little bit of lace. Again, another one, again the papers, the postcard, of course for me fairies, a little bit of leaf applique and some little roses. And then this one I put a little bit more into because I don't want you to think it can be as much or as little as you want on them, depending what you find your inspiration from. So this one is the paper, the dress form image with roses. So I've got some chipboard flourishes and vines. I've got acrylic tiny flowers, stamens, some little leaf appliques, ribbon roses, all these acrylic little flowers, and again down here some more stamen, leaf applique, ribbon roses, and a little crown spoon. You can just see there's a metal embellishment popping out there. Oh yeah, and a banner that says Dream Big. So I really wanted to make sure that I could include everyone into this challenge, and so that's paper crafting, fabric crafting, and I also thought about people that make more embellishments as well. So I came up with a few sort of small embellishments that, you know, so I thought about people that like to do small embellishments with like mixed media style. So this is a metal charm piece with an image with some little clay flowers which I gessoed and sprayed, and then just a tiny piece of seam binding. So it could be an embellishment, you see, so it, you know, the variety of sizes that you can do. This is just like a crown cameo base. I've popped a little piece of paper in there, some more clay flowers and a little bit of seam binding. So that's that one. I also thought about little embellishments like this. So if you use a lot of like jewellery pieces for your crafting, so these are little tiny glass spirals, and I've just popped some tiny sort of like glass beads in them. Well, they're actually like glass mixed media things in there. So it could be something like that, and I've just popped them on some of these pins. So this one is like a stick pin with a fabric flower on. You know how much I love fabric flowers, so that always inspires me, with a tiny earring. And this one's just got a pearl stopper on the end. So it could be something like that. And these ones are little glass, they're actually meant for necklace pendants, but I've filled this one with little pearls because you know I love pearls, so it's a little glass, oh, I'm dropping it, container filled with pearls, and I'm just popping this on a clip hook so that I can attach it. This is another little glass vial, and I've put a little bird cage in. That probably won't show in this light. No, there is a little bird cage in there, and again I've popped it on a little hook. So excuse me, so I wanted to, you know, everyone to be able to take part. So, you know, if your inspiration's fabric, you could do a small fabric piece. If your inspiration's paper and card, you can do a paper piece. And if you just make small embellishments or you know, little accessories, then you can take part too. So it's just, you just need one piece, one small piece of inspiration. And my plan is to create a few inspiration canvases, and what I thought is I could layer up everyone's inspiration onto a canvas board, you know, like that, so it would build up. But I could also then, you see, clip the smaller pieces of embellishments that could hang off there onto the board, so it becomes a canvas of everyone's inspiration. And with the paper ones, I'd probably do a fabric one with embellishments and then a paper one in the same idea, you know, just with all the different sizes, just layer them up to make the inspiration board. And, you know, I can clip anybody that just does an embellishment, I can clip those onto the board. Well, that's my idea that I can create these canvases with all the pieces of inspiration. So all I'm asking for is one snip of inspiration. It can be fabric, paper based, or embellishment based. It can be as small as you like, but no bigger than 7 inches by 4, which is this size. So no bigger than this, because that would fit in, you know, an envelope. So I really want to keep the cost of people shipping down. You do not need to finish the back off, because the plan is to put them onto a canvas board. So the back, you can if you want, but the back will not get seen. So, you know, please, you know, if you don't want to finish the back off, please don't. So I really hope that some of you will take part in this and like the idea. But I really would like to see what inspires everyone and get to know what, you know, all the different things that inspire people. Because when I started to make some examples up, I could have went on forever. But I just want one piece of, a small piece of inspiration. So a snip of inspiration. So I really hope that's all clear and you know, makes sense. The prizes, I think I'm going to do one international, one UK. But it might be more, I'm not sure yet, but definitely one international, one UK. I'm hoping to do something handmade and do a inspiration kit alongside the handmade thing, so perhaps some laces, flowers, embellishments, that kind of thing as a prize. So I really hope you'll take part. I've had great fun putting my little snips of inspiration together, and I really hope that you do too, and you enjoy maybe taking part. Like I say, my email address will be in the description box below. Please, if you do want to take part, send me the email and I will send my address to you. And I hope you all have a lovely weekend, and I will speak to you all soon. Oh, closing date. Okay, so we're at the start of Feb. So I will close on the last weekend of, that's Easter, probably best not to close over Easter. So the first weekend of April, I'll pop the date, the closing date, in the description box. And I will speak to you all soon. Have a great weekend. Bye.